proud of him being recognized for all of his hard work. So congratulations, Mr. Bile.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yep, very nice, John. Congratulations. Mr. Byer, we'd like to get a quick photo with you and the board, please.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Let me get one more over here just to make sure I got the thing. Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right, good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, we have a couple presentations here this evening. First up will be Gibraltar Design, here to give us an update on our facility and feasibility study.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be with you. Jim Thompson, President of Gibraltar Design, is also with us this evening. As promised, after our last meeting with our preliminary assessments of each of the buildings, we had some time to spend with your facility director. Extremely helpful as we had conversations combining our engineers, architects, then also your phenomenal facility team to further refine our assessments, which what we will be presenting today. So as you can see with our planning schedule, set the stage for this evening, facility improvement considerations that we will bring forth, a summary of the operational cost savings. We'll show you the work behind that, and then finalize the process for the learning environment input and create the stage for what's next. And when we come back on May 14th, the primary focus of that evening will be learning environments and survey results from staff. This is just information that you have seen before, that we have a placeholder just to understand the inventory of your district assets, along with site and building data to make sure that we're always keeping an eye on enrollment. And then at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Jim, who's going to walk us through the observations and assessment summary. And as he's doing that, I'm going to pass out a visual that you can have up in front that will be able to help guide.
Good evening, everyone. Members of the school board, Superintendent Briggs, members of the public. Enjoy being here. Thank you for the partnership. We really appreciate collaborating with you and your team and going through this process as we collect, assimilate, organize, share thoughts to help advance your district's stewardship and planning for the long-term facilities and those important assets that are used to provide learning environments for your students and staff to utilize. So, having concluded our meetings, we had 2 of them last week with Mr. Poole and Dr. Balmer to review facilities to see if we were seeing things similar to their view, what things might be different. So we vetted all of that. What you'll see tonight, I think, is a reasonable and fair conclusion as to how we both are viewing your facilities. Some overall observations, I'll just paraphrase what you see here in this summary. First of all, maybe because of people's backgrounds, history of the district, care of the school board as stewards of facilities, you're very proactive in what I call preventative maintenance, which is how do you stay ahead of the curve, or how do you stay ahead of things that might be coming up, and how do you maintain modern, fairly good condition, capable buildings. It was good to know, I'm old enough to remember when you did 5-year technology plans back in the 80s and 90s. You still carry on a theme like that, modified to current day thinking of technologies and updates. So I believe that's Jerry Smith, your technology director, and Dr. Brommer will review that. And you as a board receive information periodically and appropriately to update. That's great. Your elementary school, what we're in now, it's not uncommon whenever decisions are made to do something to an existing building, particularly when it involves a significant addition, and you sort out all the budgeting and all the dollars and scope. You could imagine at a time when the existing building was here, some things were in fairly good condition, so you wouldn't just tear them out and start over when you're doing a brand new building addition to the building, such as you have. So you basically, when you're done, you end up with two buildings. And so what we observed was the older portion of the building, lighting is, for example, the most evident. If you walked into a classroom, you'd see the old 30-year-old style of light fixture, which is mounted to the ceiling. It looks like an egg crate upside down. So we saw some of that. That may be something later on as we do the feasibility study. You as a board might say, how do we level that up so that it looks and feels and behaves as a building? We talked about buildings breathing, and behaves as a building, same as our other facility assets or the newer part of this building. You're very proactive with temperature controls, saving energy there where you can. I think that's still a work in progress, and we'll share something tonight about data and how to create a dashboard that means something to you. You've got an LED lighting plan, continuing to replace. I think the number I heard was roughly 20% of the district may still need some LED replacement, but you'll just do that as you go when it's appropriate. And then one of the things I really admired, you could file this under a heading of making best better. So your team already is very proactive, but we had some conversation about creating dashboards, how to deal with warranties and O&M manuals, and those types of things that create checklists for annual review of expensive equipment. Like, what are the 10 things we'd want to review each year related to a chiller to make sure we get as much life as possible? No different than a car. You buy a car, you get a 30,000 mile checkup, 45,000 mile checkup. Dealer recommends for your car, you do these things at those mile markers. Very similar conversation. You know that the black boxes mean these are things that are near the end of life, beyond service life, but you may even still be able to keep them going. Empty box, clear box, that's like new, it might be new, meeting the needs. And then you have things in the middle which are functioning, they're perfectly fine. They just might not be the latest and greatest or the newest. They also could mean that there are some things happening that eventually you're going to address them. Yes.
The elementary building, are you talking about this building we're in right now or the one in town?
No, this one.
So it has.
It's basically two parts. Yes. But somebody came and did a project and sort of wrapped around the old part, but some of the remnants of the older part are still evident.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And actually, I think at the back of the presentation tonight, there might be some photographs, just a couple that might show that. So we talked about the rating, and it's for your convenience, the top of each of these tables. This is your district-wide view, which is what Mr. Kingery passed out as an 8x11, so that you could see top to bottom on one 8x11 an executive summary, a dashboard quickly. These are the pieces of that. 4 columns, each school. Yellow means it's the high school, and we highlighted things that are underway as part of the project through multiple phases. And we tried to put as best we could an assessment of what the rating might have been before you started the project. Everything looks normal. Again, we talked about the elementary school building, and in this case, we'll talk again in the presentation about chillers. Again, don't be alarmed unnecessarily about black boxes. It just means that everyone is aware you have some things that are going to need some attention, and they're beyond their service life, but can still be utilized. We had a good conversation today about the preventative maintenance planning on an annual basis and what items become priority, and you brought those to the board level to say, here's 2 things we're going to do this summer. and the 2 things you'll do the next summer. And that's where some of these things that you're seeing fit in. Essentially, almost everything on the assessment list, if you started to make an action item request, almost everything in our minds could be handled as a summer project in any given year based on how you want to proceed and prioritize. Exception might be lifting up the older portion of like an elementary school, because there'd be so many unit ventilators, you wouldn't want to do them 2 at a time. You'd want to just come in and get them all done. So you might look at that at a higher level. We'll talk about that 2 steps from now in our process. I'm going to keep going because you've seen some of this before. So we did this for the summary of all the aspects of the building in an executive form. Then we went into what we called and termed life cycle, meaning we added a column, you can see to the right, of far right life expectancy. How long would the industry say something might last, measured by years? And of course, that can vary a little bit depending on the type and quality of the equipment, but that's a good general guide for how long things can last. And then years in service is how long you have had them in service. And by the way, it's not uncommon if you see the 4 for temperature controls, that's 4 years old, because you see a benefit to changing temperature controls to the newest technology after roughly 10 years of building use. And so now you have something that's 4 years old in the school versus original equipment that would have been 14 years old. And then I tried to summarize for you with our team some bullet points if you chose to read some highlights of certain aspects, such as water quality. But again, Kyle Poole's very on top of water quality in this area and what it can do to equipment. So you stay on top of it and make sure that the water quality doesn't deteriorate equipment to age it faster than you would want. We did this for the primary school. I'm going to go fairly fast. It's in really good shape. And you can see with if you see a 1/14, that just means that some things relative to like emergency exit lights have been replaced. So some of it's less than a year old or a year old. Other aspects of the exit lighting that says 14 years means there's a plan, but it hasn't been replaced yet. So it's still 14 years old. And again, primary school is in excellent shape. We did talk about, you'll be a district that's maybe envied by some other districts, where you'll be able to think strategically about how you will periodically refresh the building. And by that, I mean, you could map out 10 years and say, in year 7, we're going to paint 80% of the district, because by that time, it'd be time for a refresh with paint. Or you might say, in year 9, we're going to replace the worn out carpet. Why would you do that? Because if you bundle into larger groupings carpet, you get a better price. So you'll be able to start strategically leveraging costs because you are in such good condition right now. We talked about the elementary school, so we took inventory. Again, I mentioned the cooling plant and the chillers. They're probably going to need something done sooner than later.
Sandy, weren't the rooftop units just replaced here like 2 years ago? So this shows 22 years, but the RTUs were all replaced in this entire facility.
So we'll make a note to circle back and check with Kyle.
I just want to make sure, because I was like, well, I'm looking at it, I'm like 22 years. Like, I'm pretty sure we took everything off because we had an issue with the curbs at one point, because they had the curbs that were old and new. And then, of course, the new curbs that matched the old curbs had to come back and redo it. That's the reason why I had to ask, because I know Todd was.
But the information is it was every rooftop unit on this building.
Yeah. They put them over top of the gym. Yep.
In the gym, and then we have all the units that are in the classrooms.
Okay.
Just make a note.
This is a good time to mention. So we'll circle back to this at the feasibility study phase. And we'll probably actually at that point meet with the site managers of your buildings.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, like, if Kyle has that information, he should be able to just relay that right back to you. Because that came from that, our previous West Clark built up right before we, in 2019, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oh, it came prior to this district's history.
Correct.
The West Clark. Okay, that might be
Yeah, it was overlapping between.
that might be one of the reasons we miss him.
For the split,
Right.
but then the process of implementing it was after.
Okay.
Yes, I'll hit that one. When we,
It's going to apply to middle school as well.
Okay, great.
that's one to make sure, like, when I asked last month, to make sure you had all those documents whenever we moved from that last building phase, if you had that, because that actually had
Yeah.
some of the fire alarm, had some of all the temperature controls that we went through, because I think that's all across the entire district there too. So, because Jerry can manage it from the BMS system that he has. So,
Yeah, we did talk about the technology, but some of these items
Okay.
we'll circle back and make sure we talk about
yep,
or secure the information.
yeah, we'll make sure you get it.
So that's why when we look at the elementary school, though, we do think of it as like two different buildings, the new addition part and the existing.
And I think it goes back to the lighting program that the initial side here was to do these types of troffers because that's what the discounted rate was at the time. And then I think when the new other designs come up and they might have a rebate on them, that's when we're going to do those. So yeah, that is in that part of that action plan.
Yeah, like a gymnasium lighting would be treated different with the program versus typical
Correct. Right.
tray lights.
Yeah, the 2x4s were different than the little 2x2s. They didn't have a discounted rate at the time for the 2x2, so we didn't do those. So yeah, the admins are on top of all those.
So the middle school, I mentioned the temperature controls and some other things. We had a good discussion about interior, indoor air quality, comfort level. Your middle school is one of your better, is the best rated Energy Star building, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But the consumption of utility energy, BTUs, kilowatts, all those things is lower. I think in part you have a two-pipe system here. And so we talked a little bit about why some owners prefer in more humid climates a four-pipe system to control the humidity and why some of your buildings. But those are all very isolated, specific conversations and decisions. The great news is, from what we were told, the middle school is very comfortable, essentially year-round, even in the shoulder seasons when there might be rain and humidity. And you might have an intermittent one day where you're trying to adjust it a little bit with taking in less outdoor air and less humidity. So I think you're in really good shape compared to some districts who maybe have older systems and they're not as able to control them.
Yeah, I think initially I think the HVAC was originally put on at the middle school, and then having the new temperature controls, it was kind of like a correlation of which one worked best for where, and so it took some time. I mean, it probably took us a couple of good months, I think, for you all to get that nailed out. If I'm speaking correctly, I think I remember that. Yeah.
And I think there's still some ongoing adjustments being made, like, for example, in this building with the main office area and the temperature controls, contact points, what does it control and when does it control it? But it sounds like you're getting that as an ongoing plan. So, and then the high school, again, yellow meant that these are things that are part of the high school project intentionally, and so that'll all get addressed by the check mark in the far right column. Okay, utility costs. The data that you have there that you'll be able to look at later. So when you think about Energy Star, the information that is that not what you're looking at? Oh,
No, I gave over some information to Dr. Briggs and Dr. Balmer for utilities. One of the things we are looking at are the decatherms we're using, and there are some different versions if we're using or apply for the rebates for that. So I didn't know if that applied here yet. So
It does not.
I'll make sure he gets that over
well,
to you. So.
this does not involve any like rebates or anything like that.
It's not a rebate. It's just making sure that whenever we are filed under the decatherms that we're underneath the right C2 or R2.
Oh, sure. If there's internal administrative filings like that.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure like those numbers will be a little bit different once those get inputted. So
Yeah.
just make sure you're up to date.
Yeah. So what the table that we put together is more a derivative of how Energy Star is viewed. And we've talked before, I know you would probably have much deeper understanding, but generally speaking for Energy Star, for those that wouldn't know, it's like when you would go to this hardware store or the appliance store, and you'll see a dishwasher has an Energy Star label on it. So it was a federal program. It is a federal program through the Department of Energy. And it basically is a way for consumers buying appliances to know that this piece of appliance equipment has a rating that's deemed more efficient. And so some people are very accustomed to looking for that little yellow sun logo that says this is an Energy Star appliance. The program over the years evolved to where buildings can also be evaluated and put into a classification. And the highest classification would be it's an Energy Star building, and you're on your way to doing that. But when we look at data and we work with school districts, school boards, CFOs, if somebody tells you, oh, you have an 85, which is the ranking rating of the middle school, 85, you can't really put that into context. So what we like to do is take the data, which would be your utility consumption, what you're consuming, and the cost of that, and translate it to dollars. Because when you translate to dollars, it tends to mean, okay, I'm spending more money at this building to heat and cool than I'm spending per square foot over this building. And that's the key. When you divide it by square foot, you can start to compare apples to apples. So you don't look at the total consumption because the square footages are different, but when you start dividing by the square footage and do a per square foot basis, and then you can start asking yourself questions about what the information means. What I have had districts do that start to see this view, which is a new view for Kyle and Todd to see, when they pay the bill, they insert the utility cost data. And then I've had CFOs say, we need to talk about all of the basketball invitationals we have, because I can see every weekend we're spending X dollars. It's so dialed in that you know what your normal operation is, but a CFO can say, this spike of cost is because we had an invitational.
Yeah, you can clearly see the big difference between the middle school and the elementary school. So no, it's great information.
And you can also start to see where heat pumps are a little bit more efficient. One of the things, though, that reason this is still preliminary is our understanding is you're still sorting out a little bit the meters, because your district evolved over time and you have metering that's still not easy to follow. So when you get bills, it's hard to sort out exactly what's included in this meter. So Kyle understands it. He's sorting it out to the best of our ability, taking what data we had, partly from your temperature controls initiatives with Train, we were able to put a preliminary look. And I think it's starting to get close to what's going on. And we did that for 2 different years. And how you take it from here will be entirely up to you. If you like the idea of saying, how much are we spending at this building per year? What's the trending? I don't know that you would get into those nutty conversations about basketball invitationals and how much it costs to heat and cool. But the reality is, another maybe more practical example is, had a CFO call and thank me because in January they paid the bill, but they shut down the building for winter break. And when they paid January's bill, they were like, there's a spike here. And so they went around, they figured out that somebody accidentally left windows open and the outdoor air dampers open over winter break. And so they spent all that energy heating. Yeah. So, there's just that's why you kind of do it right when you see it every month and say, yep, looks normal, it's within the range. So good conversation about that.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Chris?
So information that has been shared in the last 2 sessions will continue to spiral back on, but we are going to launch the next phase of the study, which is that learning environment input. So I wanted to make sure very clear about the process. So this will be a district-wide survey, an opportunity for all staff members, not just teachers, but all staff members to provide input on their learning environments and their perspectives on how the building behaves according to their jobs. And then I'm going to be scheduling a principal review where we are going to have a chance to sit down, discuss the data as it comes out, and then also have a list of questions that I'm going to work through with the principals about how the building operates from their perspective, identify some potential barriers, and then we are going to take that information. I'm going to review it with the superintendent team. And then ultimately, when we come back in May, the primary focus at that time will be on learning environments and the staff input and results. So next steps, by this Friday, Dr. Briggs is going to have the list of questions that'll be used in the survey to make sure that if there's any variation, because we do like to customize it. We have a general form that we use, but we do want to customize it for Silver Creek and make sure if there's questions that we need to add, we will do that. And then prepare for our school visits upon completion of the surveys, and then be back with you in May. Any questions?
No, I like it. I appreciate it. Everything you're doing. So thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to this step.
We are too. It's always nice to really get a broad view of it and then kind of see it as it narrow down, just like with the utility costs. So to be able to kind of see our everything come together, which is really nice. I appreciate that.
The other part that I appreciate about it is the outside perspective about educators just make the best of what they have every day. And so they make the world work, but they also don't know those many celebrations of things that they have solved, and they are innovative in their own way. And so to hear that from an outside perspective of being in schools across the state, I enjoy that part of this next step.
Thank you all. No, thank you all. Appreciate you.
Great. Thanks, guys. Okay, next presenter is Dr. Willman, principal at Silver Creek High School. Dr. Willman is going to be presenting on a couple of different things, and I don't believe he has a presentation, which is fine. He's just going to speak to the board. The first one is about Jobs for America's Graduates, or JAG, as it's known as. And board, just be aware that this is a one item that's on the agenda for you to approve the MOU with JAG this evening, and then also about an opportunity for high school teachers, the Advanced Placement Teacher Investment Program, also known as AP TIP. So, Dr. Willman, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. We're really excited about these two memorandums of understanding, which should come to the board at the next meeting or thereabouts, maybe early May. First one, Jobs for America's Graduates. This MOU will be a partnership between Southern Indiana Works, which is a partner agency of the Indiana Department of Workforce Development, and the SC School Corporation. Essentially, it's a dropout prevention program that serves high school students for 1 or more years, as well as an additional 12 months of post-graduation follow-up services. Now, we're looking at current sophomores. This is to kind of get us started. Current sophomores and juniors for next year, essentially 2 sections for a total of around 30 students, maybe a little bit more, who are having trouble finding a career path. It would not include Prosser students or those pursuing the ICC. These students would likely just have an in-school pathway or nothing at all. So just trouble finding all of that. JAG will furnish the instructor, field trips, guest speakers, tours of local colleges and universities, as well as deliver the curriculum. Really, the only thing that we're going to need to do is provide space and access to field trips, as well as access to technology, just like we do for every other instructor. And probably the thing that I'm challenged the most with is finding space. So I'm not quite sure. If you ask me where we're going to put this group, I don't know yet. But we have to find a space because I think it's going to be worth it. We're excited about this new resource for us.
Right.
Any questions about that specific agreement?
No, thank you for
No, I
bringing that to
appreciate
us, and I do believe it is in our board packet for approval tonight.
Okay,
So.
good.
Yeah, just a couple things. One, I have some experience with JAG programs. They're phenomenal. The only drawback I've ever said about the JAG program is it was too bad that we couldn't expand it to impact more kids. But I think a great start here, and I think I'm looking forward to them coming on board.
I think we will have the opportunity to expand, but the first year we're going to probably around 30 students, more or less. But yeah, I think they did mention that. The second one, AP TIP, this MOU involves training for our teachers who teach AP courses in the areas of math, science, and ELA, and it's through the University of Notre Dame. AP TIP is the acronym of Advanced Placement Teacher Investment Program, and their essential intent is to, quote, empower teachers and school leaders to create accessible and challenging learning environments that advance all students' readiness for college, career, and life. So this agreement gives us access to a number of valuable resources at no cost for 3 years. Several include the AP Summer Institute. This involves content-rich training designed to strengthen how AP courses are taught. That's a PD session up in Indianapolis, at least 4 days long. Remote teacher collaborations. This involves discussion that explores the practical application of high-level curricular demands, and it's an exchange of best professional practices. The fall conference, this is online and on separate days, which alleviates the stress on finding substitutes. They have mock exams. This uses previously released AP exams to train teachers on scoring in a format similar to a College Board AP exam. Coaching, that's individual instructional coaching throughout the year. And then some other notable things, just to keep everybody informed of this will not replace dual credits. We don't have a hidden agenda here where we're looking to take away dual credit and replace it with AP. We already have a strong dual credit program that serves our community well with the ICC. So many, if not all of these programs can be co-seated with one another. So you can do both with that. And this program is meant to enhance something that we already have. And it's going to help ensure that students who wish to go to college are better prepared for what they will face in that environment. I think as a parent, the thing that I was most concerned with is not necessarily that they can take this piece of paper with them to, say, Indiana University or wherever. It's that they're prepared to go there and that they can succeed there. It is, research will tell you that a student that just sits in an AP course for the entire year but gets an F has a 10% higher chance than a person that has no exposure to that curriculum at all. So it is, the chances are in their favor. And also, the part that I'm most excited about is that it will affect all of the teachers in this area as well as others, because these teachers will take these strategies and the rigor not only to the courses they teach involving AP, but the other courses they teach as well, and bring it to the collaboration process. So we're excited about that. Any questions on that one?
That's
Sounds
awesome.
like
Thank
a
you.
great opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob. And just an update to the board, I have received a draft of the MOU for the AP tip and hope to bring that to you at the next board meeting.
Okay.
Do we have any community input? Okay. The consent agenda.
Okay, under consent agenda, under letter A, finances, under number 1, over $10,000, we have numbers 1 through 5. Under letter B, donations, we have number 1. Under letter C, personnel, certified leaves, we have letters A through D. Under number 2, positions, we have letters A through P. Under number 2, classified, number 1, appointments, we have letters A through G. Under number 2, resignations, letters A through H. Number 3, leaves, letter A. Under number 4, positions, letters A through H. And under number D, other requests for approval, numbers 1 through 5. And that's it for the consent agenda.
Hearing the consent agenda, do I have a approval to move?
So move.
Joe makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Well, are you bringing it for discussion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I second.
Okay. Yep, and go ahead.
Yeah, so I had a question over all this, just one question, and it's regarding the agreement with the Mozzie Education. Sounds like Nathan's been a great person to leverage last year and then bringing him on again this year. My only question is that monthly fee, is it a set number of hours that he'll put in each month, or is it just as needed? Like, what does that encompass?
Yeah, and I'll defer to Dr. Swearens or Dr. Waters, but I know now they meet 3 days a week with him. And I think with the new agreement, that is reduced, but I'm not sure it's reduced to 1 day a week.
1 day a week and then 2 on sites. But then he's also very flexible. If we need additional time with him, he will meet with us at other times as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the nice part about, one of the nice parts about working with him is those are just minimums.
Okay.
As she said, if we find it, and he's been really great that if I have something for him, I can schedule a separate meeting or I can jump on board with their weekly meeting.
Okay. I couldn't tell because also in the agreement it mentioned outside of that there was a hourly fee. So
Yeah, I did see that as well, and I think that's what we want him to do. If we want to add to his scope in terms
okay.
of what he helps us with, then we would have to go back with him and either be charged that or reopen up the agreement.
So otherwise he's pretty fluid and flexible and has a standard amount, and then we'll
Yes.
meet with you as needed. Okay.
Okay, cool. Hearing discussions, I have a motion to approve.
So move.
Joe makes the motion. I have a second.
Second?
Okay, and all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, discussion action items. Legislative update. Both of y'all want to speak tonight?
Yeah, so there's been 31 new laws pertaining to K through 12 education policy and school governance and child-related laws that will take effect soon. I'm not going to go over all 31. I only picked out about a handful here, a couple handfuls here actually, that are pretty pertinent. And then within those, obviously they're pretty lengthy. So I just picked out some bullet points of specific things that are of importance. One of those is the school safety law that will take effect in July. It states that a school safety plan is developed by a school corporation must establish an armed intruder drill protocol, and there's details on that. And then it also talks about school resource officers and how they may become a 1977 fund by meeting a certain age requirement and certain training requirements for SROs. And then there's the state and local administration law that will take effect. It is concerning current caps on operating referendum tax that may be levied by a school corporation to taxes due and payable in 2025, and states a formula to determine the cap for that year. It also reestablishes and enumerates the requirements and procedures for a petition and remonstrance and a referendum for controlled projects funded by debt service if the project scope changes from the purpose initially advertised to taxpayers. Another part of it is it requires a school corporation to deposit distributions for curricular materials into the education fund of the school corporation that maintains the school. There's also the various education matters law, one of them, there's more than one. And it makes changes to the education law concerning Indiana diploma requirements and designations and satisfying certain course requirements by obtaining a diploma. The minimum number of alternative diplomas that may be counted in determining a school or school corporation's graduation rate. The criteria an individual must meet to participate in an Indiana high school equivalency diploma program, and the percentage of state tuition support that must be expended on teacher compensation. It also requires public high schools to offer, starting after July 30th, 2028. So I believe that will start with this year's 7th graders as they go into graduate in 2029. At least once each school year, at least one computer science course must be taught to them as a separate subject in the public high school's curriculum. Each public school is to participate in an annual statewide survey concerning school fees charged to students or parents to be eligible to receive a distribution from the Curricular Materials Fund. It requires the department, which is the IDOE, to develop guidelines requiring the use of curriculum or content that prepares elementary school teacher candidates in math instruction. So that'll pertain more to your colleges. But you can see there that they're interested in math instruction and what that's looking like in public schools going forward. And it amends the requirements to receive the literacy endorsement on teacher licenses. There's several effective dates within this law because it's extensive, so I'm not even going to go over those. There is on the IDOE's site a question and answer format where you can look up how iLearn is changing and what all the requirements around that. And then it also goes into the requirements for teacher pay, the 62% requirement, and all the details on that, what that looks like for corporations. It requires school boards to have a policy regarding habitually truant students and how it will affect them in their extracurricular and co-curricular activities. And then we have the reading skills law that will be coming out and be effective soon, which will require certain schools beginning with the 24-25 school year to offer summer school courses. And this will also include elementary, and then there will be additional funding for that. And then it requires for those who are teaching reading in the elementary grades to be science of reading endorsed. There's also a lot of laws and details, or a lot of details in the law regarding the new iRead requirements, which I will not go into all of those specifically, but there has been a lot of changes with that regarding students need to pass that and what it would look like if they don't. And then there's also the reading proficiency law that is looking at grades 4 through 8, and it's requiring the IDOE to have an evaluation of their reading skills and a look at their proficiency, their Lexile scores on iLearn. And it's requiring the department to help support school districts with how to bring up those scores in students in grades 4 through 8. And then there's the law that I know Joe's going to want to add on some information to this, but it's the one about wireless communication devices in the classroom. And it requires each school corporation to adopt and implement a wireless communication device policy that will have certain exemptions, prohibits a student from using a wireless communication device during instructional time. And it also must be posted on the school corporation website, which I do know we have a policy that incorporates this, and it is posted on the website. So I believe we're already within compliance. But Joe, did you want to add on to that?
On that bill, we're pretty much in line with what the state passed. I just think we need to review it in the future because there's been enough studies shows that the phone is probably the biggest contributor to bullying in the schools. And we know if you look at the numbers last year, how many that was turned into the state, and anybody that truly knows that there's more than what's being turned in the phone is the biggest issue. So I hope the General Assembly in the next session will actually tighten this bill up where they can't even carry a phone during the day. If we really want to help ourselves in classrooms, there's no need for students to have the phones in classrooms. As far as the bills, anybody that would want a copy of some of this that's sent us, just let us know. Dr. Briggs has got it. Terry sent it out from the ISBA. There's actually a few more bills than what he sent out that was enacted to affect education. I wish the state would give us more time once they enact something, give us a couple years to see how we do with it before they want to come back and change something. So we really don't get enough time to see what they think they're doing is working or not. But anybody that would want a copy of this, just let us know and we'll email it out to you. I know we got a joint board meeting Friday. And I've asked to discuss the wireless issue with, and our joint board, now we're up to 17 school corporations that meet with our state representatives. So it started out with just Clark and Floyd, now we go all the way to the Ohio line. So our group keeps expanding. Again, if anyone would like some reading, just contact myself or Chad and we'll get it sent. We'll get it sent to you.
So in addition to the wireless communication, this Public Law 114 also includes, just like all bills, it seems like it kind of brings in miscellaneous items that don't seem to quite go together. But this law also eliminates the requirement of the first of the 2 separate school board hearings on teacher compensation matters relevant to the collective bargaining process. It's those hearings that typically you don't see any participation, public participation. So the governing body may receive public comment, obviously still, on these matters at a regular or special meeting, though. And then Public Law 115, which is another various education matters law that's going into effect, prohibits a teacher preparation program from using curriculum or content that is based on the 3 queuing model. Obviously you can see from this that they want us to get away from that in the schools. It eliminates the 7-day waiting period to approve a superintendent's contract after an initial public meeting on the matter, and it allows us to receive public comment on a proposed contract and then take action to approve or reject the contract at that same school board meeting. So it's eliminating some of the unnecessary meetings where there was no attendance. And then the last one that I'll go over here briefly is Law 125, is the absentee and school attendance law that's going into effect. It requires each governing authority of a school corporation to establish a truancy prevention policy regarding certain students in grades kindergarten through 6. School boards also must adopt truancy prevention policies that require school administrators to contact parents when their child accumulates 5 unexcused absences within a 10-week period, and to conduct an attendance conference to create a plan to prevent future absences. That's all I have.
Great. Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, we thank both of you guys. I know it's a lot, especially with 31 new laws, to stay on top of everything, so really appreciate it.
Yeah, and tomorrow in our admin meeting, we will begin to sort through these
Yeah.
in fine detail to see what changes need to be made. Policies. Yep, so up next for discussion are several A through S policy revisions. Many of these are just revised to meet changes in statute that happened in the last General Assembly, not the one that just ended. So this is first reading. We'll have our second reading at the next board meeting with also a request for approval. So I don't know if there's any questions from the board at this point.
Yeah, I've read over these extensively, and I only had question about one, which is the teacher appreciation grant. The past policy included teachers that were with the corporation less than 5 years. The new policy does not include teachers that have been with the school corporation 1 to 5 years. And I'm wondering why there's a change there.
Yeah, so the current policy states that you can do something different for those. No, we do not. And I believe Neola's stance on it is if it's not required by law, then they recommend you strike things out unless you choose to do that. However, in this case, our past couple years, we have not chosen to give those younger experienced teachers a difference in their tag money. I believe that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, but our policy included them as getting paid.
Well, they
Was
still
my
get it. What the law allows is if you want to give them more than you would teachers 6 years and above to help retain those more inexperienced teachers, we haven't chosen to do that.
Oh, okay. So my understanding of what I read was, though, that they wouldn't get any money with the new policy.
No. All teachers who are rated effective or highly effective will get one of $2 amounts.
Okay.
Effective or highly effective.
Oh, okay. So they're not going
It's
to be
not
left
ruling it.
out.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
All right, and action items, request for approval for Calhoun, change order number 8.
Yeah, change order number 8 includes 14 total change orders, and 3 of them are credits, and 11 of them are expenses. And the total net cost for all 14 is $53,388.90.
Hearing those, do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, and then we have permission to apply for the common school loan. We go any in depth on that?
Yes, as previously mentioned, Common School Loan will help to cover the cost of Chromebook replacements. And just as a reminder that we've had 2 Common School loans fall off. One fell off in 2023. Actually, 2 fell off in 2023, and we'll have 2 more fall off in 2024. Common School loans, we're able to ask for and receive up to $1,000 per student, so a total of $306,200. And we do anticipate the cost of the next round of Chromebooks to be around $350,000, and we'll leverage our curricular material fund to cover the remaining cost. I'm sorry? $100 per student. What did I say, 1,000? Wishful thinking I was done, Jerry. Thank you.
I was like, hey, cool.
Yes.
Yes, which I saw this in your activity report, but I did have a question about if the Chromebooks do fall under curricular material fees. So is it just that we're not receiving enough from the state to fully cover the Chromebooks? Because they
We're not
would be-
receiving enough from the state to cover curricular fees. And so by using our common school loans, we are offsetting some of those, lack of a better word here, losses
Okay,
that we have historically charged to parents, but now when we don't, we have to do it. So this helps us offset our
but
costs.
if they were paying enough to cover everything, Chromebooks would count as a curricular fee?
I believe it would, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I know at our last Region 10 meeting we got in discussion on the school corporations reimbursement, and the word from Indianapolis, they need at least 1 year data before they would want to go back and address the shortfalls, because it's just not us, it's throughout the state.
Yep, good point, Joe. Thanks.
All right, hearing that, I have a motion to approve.
Also moved.
I think we already did, right?
No,
We brought it to discussion and then we vote.
Yeah.
I thought we did it on the other one. Did we do it?
I don't think we did. I
No,
don't think
we did it for-
Okay.
Yeah, we did the other one.
Or a
I
Your
second.
motion?
So moved.
was like, you got me confused.
Second.
Okay. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We like to mix it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, I was like, wait. Comments, reports.
Yep, so Mr. Adams? Mr. Adams?
Evening. This time of year is busy at the primary. We have a lot of events coming up. Before I get into those, got louder. We wanted to thank our PTO for raising over $16,000 for our PTO readathon event. Those students who were our highest donors for their class in the readathon event will be doing a fun bookmark creation activity with Miss Campbell and I this coming Monday. So we're looking forward to that and spending time with those students. Next week is our book fair, April 15th to the 19th. Our spring book fair begins next week. Our school earns 50% of the rewards on book fair purchases made in person and 25% of the rewards each purchase made online. More information about the book fair has been sent home by teachers in their newsletters. If you have any questions about the book fair, please contact the school. We'd be happy to answer any questions about that. And we want to thank everybody in advance for supporting our readers at the primary. So book fair is a big deal. It's a lot of fun. Upcoming events. So this Friday, we have our PTO spring event for our first graders. We are doing a disco-themed dance party at the primary. All first grade students and families are invited to participate. This event is free. Come and enjoy some music, dancing, photo ops, Hunter Station pizza, popcorn, and fun. That event is this Friday from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We're excited to see all those that come out. And then finally, our Camp Kindergarten Night is next Thursday, the 18th, April 18th, from 6 to 8 o'clock. This is available for any incoming and kindergarten students for next school year. Students and their families will go on a scavenger hunt, collect important tools for learning, participate in a tour/walk through of a school bus, and enjoy Kona Ice. We're excited to welcome the class of 2037 to Silver Creek Primary. So, got a lot of fun stuff and important events coming up at the primary. Do you have any questions for me?
I will see you there with my youngest.
On what?
2037.
We'll see you there. Looking forward to it. Thank you all.
Thanks,
We will,
John.
Yes. Yes, Stevie will be a kindergarten next year.
All right, good evening. So I'm excited to be here today and share some of our springtime events. It is a busy time, as John shared with you guys. Spring is filled with lots of activities and lots of educational things going on, and so we're really excited about that at the elementary school. But first and foremost, I want to take a moment and highlight some essential people in our schools for our school success, our assistant principals. As we celebrate our assistant principals, I want to express the gratitude to these two individuals who constantly go above and beyond for their dedication of our students, families, and staff. Kristen By and John Cyphers embody excellence in their roles. Their unwavering commitment to our school's mission is truly commendable. Each day, they tirelessly, I knew I was going to mess that one up, work with students, providing guidance, support, and encouragement. Their efforts extend beyond the school walls as they foster meaningful connections with families, ensuring open lines of communication and collaboration. Kristen and John play a pivotal role in supporting our teachers. They provide individual assistance, resources, and mentorships. Their contributions behind the scenes significantly enhance the learning environment for both our students and our staff. So Silver Creek Elementary is blessed with the dedication and the leadership of Kristen By and John Cyphers. Their passion, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to our school's community is profound. Simply put, our school is a better place because of their work. Additionally, I'm excited to share some success of a recent PTO Spring Fling. Last Friday, our students had an absolute blast with bounce houses, face painting, balloon animals, and music. It was a wonderful occasion, and we were thrilled to see such a fantastic turnout for our school community. Today, we invited in Farmer Steve as he visited our third graders. This is an exciting day for our kiddos. He brings animals to the school. He has like a traveling petting zoo. So kids got to observe, pet, and even hold some animals like goats, pigs, rabbits, chicks, and turkeys. He even had a calf and a pony. So we were thrilled that the rain held out and he was able to have these animals here with us today for the kids. Looking ahead, we have several important events lined up. First of all, on April 15th, our I Learn begins. We urge our parents to ensure that their children are well rested, have nutritious breakfast, and arrive on time during their testing days. Our fifth grade will have a ukulele program that will take place on April 16th, and it gets to showcase their musical talents as they learn to play the ukulele this year. On April 17th, we're going to host an informational meeting for our second grade families who were identified at risk on our READ assessment. So we're really excited, and we think that this is going to be a critical step to help our partnership grow and ensure that those students pass our READ in third grade. Our second grade spring music program is scheduled for April 18th. And our School Smiles will be here on April 24th for any parents or students who need a dental checkup that are in need. And our next Pride ceremony will be on April 26th. So we're celebrating dependability. So it's a busy, busy time. Currently, we have kicked off, since we returned from spring break, our Dragon Dash fundraiser. This is our main fundraiser for the year for Silver Creek Elementary. We aim to raise funds to add a walking track around our playground. That's what we're hoping to. And we also want to install a buddy bench in Grayson Deckard's honor on our playground. Your support for this endeavor is invaluable. Students are encouraged to raise $50 to support our school. Our Dragon Dash will take place on April 19th, and students will get different prizes for different things. So they get a Frisbee just for signing up. If they get $1, they earn a drawstring backpack. So there's different incentives. If they get a $50 donation, they'll receive a T-shirt. So, but we also have some bigger awards that we're excited about. Our top 2 earners in each grade level will get a party with the principals, which is always a fun time. And the top 10 earners in our school will get a limo ride to Pizza King for lunch with me. So that's a great time. So the top class in each grade level will get to visit, and the ice cream truck, we're going to bring in an ice cream truck for them. So we're excited about all of those things. So we just ask families in the community to please consider supporting our fundraiser so that we can continue to provide for our students with activities and resources. Do you guys have any questions for me?
No.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thanks.
It's none.
Good evening again. Just some upcoming events at Silver Creek Middle School. We have a junior achievement field trip coming up for our 7th grade FACS students. This week, we also have students attending the Derby Dinner production of Footloose this week. So we've got a lot of field trips. And then on Thursday, our 8th graders will leave for Chicago for our overnight field trip. We're looking forward to a great time in Chicago this week. New stop this year is Wrigley Field, so go Cubs. I'm excited about that. Again, we want to offer our shout outs to Trey Kaufman-Wren. Getting to see him play in middle school was a treat. Also Kennedy Reed, her contributions still in the middle school. And so just want to thank them for just doing all their positive things in the world and wish them luck in all their achievements and future adventures. We also had current students be awarded a spot at Camp Kilowatt this summer, hosted by our REMC. Congratulations to Kaylee Goodwin, Lily Risk, and Maxton Payton. So they'll get to be have some things this summer. Also, I want to thank our winter guard and percussion for coming to the middle school and sharing their talents with us last Friday. Both groups put on an incredible show for our students and staff. So thank you to all the teachers and sponsors for making this happen during the school day. It was a great time to see the talent and to hopefully let the middle schoolers know what they can accomplish if they join into that group. Our iLearn for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade will also begin next week. This week, we are getting in the spirit for the test. Thank you to our student council. They came up with some spirit days for us this week. Maybe you can tell it was student council led. Monday, that was Don't Sweat the Test. So they were in their sweats doing their work. Today was Crazy Sock Day. So knock the socks off the test. Tomorrow, we are going to wake up ready. So come see us. We'll have Crazy Hair Day tomorrow. Thursday will be Neon Day for we're being bright for the test, and we're going to rest for the test on Friday because they had to come up with a way to get PJs in there. So pajama day on Friday. And again, please see our announcements. Report cards are available, and our online registration is up and ready to go for the 24-25 school year. So please take advantage of just being able to click your announcements and have the link for our online registration. And again, we will have help available if anybody needs some help. On April 18th, we will welcome our 5th grade to middle school for a Welcome to Middle School night. Our 5th graders and parents are invited to come do a self-guided tour, meet some of our middle school staff, and learn about the incredible life of middle school. We can't wait to see some of our new kiddos here. I didn't calculate their graduation date. Sometimes it just makes me feel really old. And again, I know if Mrs. Campbell was here, she would give a shout out to John. I think we all feel the same way in each of our APs, and I want to give you a shout out for that too. And a huge, huge, huge thank you to Mr. Brad Troutman, our AP at the middle school. He does an incredible job for our students and staff every day in the community on the football field. And so again, we cannot thank you guys enough. Our school doesn't run without you. It doesn't feel right without you guys. And so we're very, very thankful to have you guys all. Any questions for the middle school?
Thank you.
Thanks, Christy.
Yeah, the national championship thing was a nice thing to watch last night. I was this close to playing the Purdue fight song this morning, but I would have if they'd won. But just to kind of give a perspective on that, we need to cherish moments like this. I think the last time an area player played on a stage that big was Mike Flynn in 1975. So it just kind of gives you a little perspective on how big an accomplishment that was. So something community can be very proud of. Also, the assistant principals with Hannah Oliver and Neil Losi, fantastic individuals. They take great amounts of initiative of things. Very rarely do I have to go. I mean, I can go tell them to do something or ask them to do something, but chances are they've already thought of it and are in the process of doing that. So it's been a fantastic resource for me for my transition here, and so I owe them a debt of gratitude for that. And I know that the staff values what it is that they do. The EL Family Night, we have that coming up on Thursday. That's going to be in the library. IUS is putting a lot of resources into that. The focus with that night will be biliteracy. So we've invited, of course, all of the EL students and the families there, as well as students that maybe have passed the global biliteracy test as well. So that's going to be that'll be a big night for everybody. Robotics results. I know Dr. Briggs went up to West Lafayette to watch the robotics team that competed in the state finals this past weekend in their first year of doing this. And of course, they didn't qualify for Worlds, but they sure did make a number of new connections and got inspired. So we're going to kind of, I guess, honor them or give some recognition to them when we have an assembly in a couple of weeks, have them kind of put on a demo in front of the whole student body. So we're looking forward to that. Big changes this past week. We have installed Enriching Students, which is a software that allows more freedom for teachers to offer things during our flex period. And also it offers a lot more choice on the part of the student. So it's essentially what students need at that time, whether they need to study for a test, whether they need to just go get help from a teacher, or maybe just to go and play rock, paper, scissors. We did have that, rock, paper, scissors for a half an hour, a little brain break. So we're excited about that. And then a bell schedule. We changed the bell schedule. You talk about changes there. So we went to more of a 10-minute passing period there, which, with only 3 transitions during the day, that has gone very well. We just shifted some time around, and that has worked very well. We're happy about that. And I do have some names to share with you. At the next board meeting, we had over 15 students earn the seal of global biliteracy. I think last year we had 1 student earn that credential. So I'm going to read those names. I just got them maybe like 2 hours ago. Want to make sure we have all the names and we honor all the right kids and let them know first. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rob.
Dr. Waters, Dr. Swearens, anything? Okay. Before we move on, Jerry, sorry. But Jerry, I know Jerry doesn't even talk unless he's going to be talking about cakes or something else. Okay.
That'd be fine.
One thing as a school corporation, we do want to take this time and also send our condolences and prayers to the Decker family. Loss of their son is something I don't think any of us can truly fathom. So our thoughts and prayers go out to him and the family, and also to all the young men that played baseball with him, the Ironman team and our school. And I know there's a lot of great boys that are grieving right now too. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the whole entire district and the family there too. So comments?
Yes. Congratulations to all of our robotics teams at the elementary, the middle school, and the high school. I know the elementary advanced to state, and as Dr. Willman mentioned, so did the high school team. Really enjoyed my time on Saturday, really seeing the kids in action, but just as much so learning about the whole program. I thought I knew a little bit about it, and I really didn't. I got a chance to go behind the scenes and into the pits and talk to the director, and it's a pretty impressive program. I hope everyone enjoyed the eclipse yesterday. We weren't too far from the path of totality, and it really is a very cool thing when you compare the 100% versus 99%. And yes, as mentioned, thanks and appreciation to our assistant principals. We appreciate all that you guys do for our staff and our students and our families, and good luck to everyone as the testing season ramps up again. That's all I got.
Rachel?
I would just like to also say, appreciate our assistant principals and the great things that we're hearing about them tonight. And echo our appreciation of them. And then I'd also like to say thanks to Abby and the primary school for the tribute to Owen Twig on Friday evening. It was a lovely dedication time with the tree and everything. And I know, that took some time putting all that together. And it was very much appreciated. And like what Dr. Briggs said, as we go into the testing season, wish everyone the best of luck during that time, because I know it's not the funnest. So that's all I have.
I would like to thank, all of our principals, assistants and principals. You're the reason that people want to come to our campus. It's a job that you all do. I was at a breakfast Monday morning, and I had a couple of people approach me, what are you going to do when you get your high school done? Where are you going to put the kids? And I said, I hope that's true when we get that done, that I know Bob was up on the Hill for several years. Hope the students that's leaving this campus in the years that's been going up top of the hill, there won't be no reason for them to go up the hill with what Bob's going to introduce at the high school when he has room. To expand. It's going to be a real exciting time. I hope it does become an issue, not too quick, but as far as numbers really increasing, because as our numbers go up, it only helps our staff. So we can be proud that people want to continue to come to our campus.
Yep. And speaking of the Hill, we want to send a great thanks to Diego Morales for coming down here and speaking to us at the Silver Creek High School. Diego and I, we actually went to school together, so it's great to kind of see everything, all the steps he's been taking. So thanks for coming down as a Silver Creek graduate. Big shout out to Trey Kaufman-Wren for representing the school system and all the great things you're doing, and just being a great role model for all these young kids here. So we truly appreciate that. And I know a lot of kids stayed up late last night watching you, so we truly appreciate you. And also congratulations to the STEM team, like you said, to the robotics team. That was pretty neat to kind of see them go up there and compete. I actually like to really see the robot. To be kind of neat.
Come on over.
Yeah, maybe next board meeting, have bigger maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, we'll figure that out. Susan, got anything? Okay. Upcoming meetings on April 23rd, 2024, regular school board meeting, Silver Creek Elementary School, GPR 6:30. April 23rd, 2024, executive session at Silver Creek Elementary School, elaborated following at the regular board meeting. And May 14th, 2024, regular school board meeting, Silver Creek Elementary School, GPR 6:30. And May 28th, 2024, regular school board meeting, Silver Creek Elementary School, GPR at 6:30. All right. With all that being said, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I so move.
That's where I make the adjournment. And second?
One second.
All right. All those in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
you.